You're listening to Becoming an Expat, the ultimate threat to the mundane 9-to-5 life. If you want to live life on your terms, in your favorite place, keep listening. Your host is a paramedic turned author, entrepreneur, and international lifestyle expert, Shannon Enett.
Welcome back to the Becoming an Expat podcast. I'm excited to bring you to Costa Rica this week with Jason Mueller. Now, Jason does a lot of things. Jason's from Vancouver, Canada, and he's been a writer. He's been a business owner of a limousine company in Vancouver. And now he's working with Jaco Ropes as an owner or a co-owner, we're going to find out here shortly, in Costa Rica. So I'm excited to hear about his journey and share that with you all and hopefully provide you with some inspiration and maybe life lessons learned along the way. Jason, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Shannon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm excited to learn about kind of like your life and how you ended up in Costa Rica. It's really fun to see the path that different people take. It's such an adventure, changing countries and changing lives and kind of living by your passion as opposed to sort of what just comes your way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I always live by my passion, and I'm a very spontaneous person. So, yeah.
That's great. Tell me a little bit about your background, kind of what your life looked like before you headed to Costa Rica.
All right. So before I came here, I was working, doing some construction. About 2 years prior, I had the limousine company. I had sold it, moved back to back to my hometown. And, I was doing some construction, picked up a few side jobs, like working up at the ski hill as a snowboard instructor and ski instructor, which was a lot of fun. But, I just kind of wanted to move on. I was in the same hometown for a while and felt like I needed a change. So I sold everything, sold my house that I had, all my possessions, and moved down here.
Wow. Now, how did you choose Costa Rica out of all the places to go?
I had been here about 8-10 years ago with a girlfriend at the time. We were in high school, and her grandpa and her uncle owned a place down here and a hotel. So we went here on vacation and came down and fell in love with the place. And then when I was thinking about moving on to a different location, a friend of mine came to me and convinced me to move to Costa Rica because he was planning on moving here. And, it didn't take too much convincing.
Right.
We took a holiday down here and pretty much decided right away that we were going to make this our new home.
Well, I'm sure you noticed the differences with Costa Rica 8 years ago and Costa Rica now. Were you shocked?
Yeah, it's definitely changed. I didn't travel around that much when I went down the first time. We were just in one remote area. But I remember, the prices of the beers on the beach were, I can't remember what they were, but they were cheap 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And now it's pretty expensive here. It's I think around a couple dollars for a beer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, you're in Vancouver. That's your hometown, right?
Well, I only lived in Vancouver for 3 years. I lived in White Rock, which is just outside of Vancouver, for a year, and then a few years in Vancouver when I had the limousine company. Mm-hmm. But originally from central British Columbia, a Caribou, a country boy.
All right. Okay. As far as your life, with these jobs, these odd jobs, the construction, the limousine, company, what about those odd jobs were unsatisfying? What made you sell all your stuff? That's a pretty bold move.
I'm just the kind of guy that likes a lot of change. I'm always, moving to something new. So, I was just fed up of the same old kind of boring lifestyle. And I had done a lot of traveling before. Mm-hmm. I loved backpacking. So I always thought that it would be great to live overseas. So I just said, screw it. I'm going to do it.
Okay. And then when you decided to move to Costa Rica and your friend helped convince you, how did you said, okay, I'm going to sell all my stuff, but what did you decide to do for an income? How did that come into play?
Well, I had some money in the bank, mm-hmm. and then I sold my house. So that gave me, quite a bit of money in the bank. And, we were planning on opening up the business, me and my friend together. Mm-hmm. We were actually planning on doing a cable wakeboarding park. And that was the original plan when we came down here. But we were living together for a little while and we ended up falling out. We just decided to go our separate ways.
Okay. Okay. So you thought you were going to do some sort of company, maybe adventure based, and you had a healthy cushion, so you weren't super concerned.
That's right. Yeah, I had money in the bank, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. I mean, I knew I was going to do a business down here, and that business that fell through actually led me to my current business. So it all ended up working out really good.
Well, tell us about your current business, Jaco Ropes.
So Jaco Ropes, it's a ropes course. It's obstacles in the air. You start by climbing up a ladder, then you go over a few bridges. Pretty much anybody can do it. You know, it is an athletic ability activity, but you know, anybody can do it because you're always in a harness. You're always strapped in safety lines. So if you fall, you're only going to fall a few inches.
Right.
So it's a combination of ladders, different obstacles. Like we have one where you're walking on a wire and then you got ropes to hang on to. We have zip lines, but our zip lines are a little bit different because we put objects on both sides. So you can lean out and hit them with your feet or your hands. So it makes it a little more fun and interactive. Our hardest obstacle is the tire pass, where you swing from tire to tire. And that's actually the one that most of the people like the most. And then we have a cargo net. The main attraction is the surf in the air. You surf from, you got a surfboard, you hop on the surfboard and you go from one platform over to the next.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Super
cool.
And
then Tarzan swing and rappel and a few other fun obstacles. And we also have what's called a quick jump. It's like a free fall apparatus. So you climb up the tree, we hook you into it, you jump, you get about a 3-meter free fall, and then it lowers you down safely.
Wow.
And also a rappel down a giant 150-foot tree and a zip line that connects the two.
Okay, that's quite a bit. So you snowboard, you ski. How did you get into, building obstacles and then making that actually into a business?
I had the reason why this all fell together was because we were looking at a property to do the wakeboard park on, and then we had a meeting with a guy that wanted to do the Jaco Ropes project on the same property, but he's lacking the funds. So we ended up meeting with him and then decided to help him out and go with him. And he has 16, 17 years of experience with building canopies down here. So everything that I learned from him. And, it was him and I that built Jaco Ropes together. And, he taught me everything I know about climbing and I taught him a few things about construction, so it all worked. Oh,
that is a marriage. That's perfect, right, for business. Yeah. Your skills seem to really complement each other. That's phenomenal. Do you feel like you're living more of a passion-based life now with what you're doing?
Opposed to Canada, or?
No, actually not necessarily as opposed, but just in general. Do you feel like you're following your passions and do you feel inspired and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially lately, definitely, because I got a new house on the beach, which reminded me, why I'm here. Up until about 3 weeks ago, I wasn't living in a great place and I was just working so much. But I'm able to take a little bit more time off now, making a little more money. So I'm able to have some free time and enjoy life. So yeah, definitely.
Great. And you're in Jaco living there, or are you living in a nearby town?
No, I live in Jaco.
Okay. Yeah. I lived in Jaco for a little bit, near Dulce Lunes, that hotel off that road. I don't know if you're familiar. Off that dirt road. I lived.
Dulce Lunes. We do some work with them.
Okay.
Whenever we have a team building, we try to get the group to go into their conference room and have a meeting there.
Okay. Yeah. It's a beautiful property. My apartment that I rented was in a gorgeous, gated community right next door, like adjacent. If you're looking at Dulce Lunes, to the right there. It's really yellow building, just gorgeous inside. The landscaping's insane, but great area.
I know the one you're talking about. My friend actually used to live there. I've been inside.
Isn't it pretty? I freaking love that place. I totally go back. It's great. And it's far enough away from like the crazy of Jaco at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're close.
And you're close. Yeah, I walk in. I mean, I usually would walk into town and then I would take a cab back because I'd have groceries or go to dinner or whatever. It's $1. Yeah. So that's pretty good. Or $1.50. I do. I miss parts of it. Like I miss Tsunami Sushi. I love that place. I go on Wednesdays or Fridays for half price sushi. That place is awesome. And I miss the beach, and I miss that, that hike, was it Miro Mountain nearby?
Miro Mountain. I'll send you a video that you can post on the
show notes
podcast.
Yeah.
I just up there. We just got a drone, and I just made a wicked video of Miro Mountain, so you can post it so the people that are listening to this will see the drone video.
I'd love to share that with them, because I used to do that hike many times a week. You have to get up early to do it because it gets too freaking hot. You know what I mean? But I love that hike. It's just so beautiful, which you'll see apparently in Jason's drone video, which I can't wait to see, by the way. And what else do I miss about Jaco? Rustic, like that place. Hey, Cacao. I'm all mentioning food. I just miss food. That's all.
Rustico, yeah.
Yeah. I like surfing on the south end there because I'm a longboarder, so I like the mellow. When I lived in Bajuco, I lived in Bajuco for a little while, a year and a half, and it was really intense, the waves there. They just throw. It was a little hard for me. But South Jaco is perfect.
Yeah, I'm in North Jaco by the new Crocs.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Waves a little out of my league here. It's definitely better for me to go on the south side, but yeah. I can still get out there.
Sure. Well, that's great. I'm glad you're enjoying life in Jaco. Run me through like a typical day for you right now as a business owner and someone who's living, at the beach. Tell me what your day-to-day looks like.
Well, right now I'm doing most of my work from home. I have a business partner, so he's running most of the time at the actual property. I mean, I still go in and help. We've got a big tour coming in tomorrow, so I'm going to be going in to help with that. But most of the time I wake up early, I go to the gym, I come home, I eat, and I get to work doing computer stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like mostly marketing, that kind of work?
Mostly marketing for the business. Mm-hmm. I also have a side job too, doing working for a shipping company, helping them with marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do a lot of work for them, and I'm also helping a buddy out with a project too called Jaco Takeover, and we're doing Costa Rica bachelor parties.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's good.
I'm busy. Definitely, I have a lot of work to do on the computer, so I spend most of my day on the computer. I'd like to take some breaks, chill out by the pool, go for a surf. I have a dog, so I take the dog for a walk in the afternoon, and then usually just chill.
Yeah, that sounds great. Crack open the Imperial.
Yeah, I don't really drink much at all, but every once in a while, yeah. When I first moved down here, I was drinking, having a good time, partying a lot more than I do now, but I'm just really busy with work and focused on work, so I don't get out much.
Okay. How has Spanish been for you? Did you know Spanish? Where are you at now? How has that been for you? No,
I didn't know. I bought a course before I came here for holidays, and some basics. Was feeling pretty good, pretty confident enough to talk to girls. Trying to get a conversation in,
It's a good motivator.
Now it's pretty good. I can read probably about 80%. I can understand when I'm reading because I watch a lot of Netflix, and I'm always reading the subtitles. The hardest part for me is when people are talking to me, especially when they talk fast.
Right.
So usually I'll understand the words, I'll know the words, but when they talk really fast, it's hard to understand. So that's the hardest part for me is picking up on conversations, and especially in groups too. There's a group, 10 people, and they're all talking over each other and talking fast. It's hard to stay focused. If it's one-on-one and you can make eye contact and pick up on some body language, then it's different.
A little Pictionary in there, for sure. Yeah, it can be exhausting, when it's your second language and you're still learning, and you have to have that level of focus and concentration, trying to break apart each word. It can definitely wear you out. And I find myself, if I'm in a party situation and it's all in Spanish, the first half an hour, I'm there, I'm yes, I can do this. And then after that, I'm looking out the window, I'm just exhausted. I start to lose focus.
I get, honestly, when I go out and I'm with my friends and we're only speaking Spanish, I get exhausted after a few hours. And after a few hours, you're always breaking down each word, right? And after hours, it wears you out, and you're just kind of like
shot. You're mush.
Kind of give up. You're like,
not even trying anymore. I'm just staring at yeah. And then as far as speaking it, constructing your own sentences and stuff, as adults, we're conditioned. We don't want to make mistakes. We don't want to sound like a little kid, but you have to be okay with that, because obviously little kids go through that because they're learning the language, and that's what we're doing, just at a different stage in our life. And I always find that a couple drinks, a little liquid bravery, it always helps loosen the tongue a little bit, and you're not so, hesitant to just try, because the more you try and the more you get your message across, it reaffirms, hey, I'm actually communicating. This is great. Even if it's not perfect, they got the message, and that's the goal for communication, right?
Definitely. A few drinks always helps to loosen you up, for sure, that you aren't thinking about being embarrassed. Mm-hmm. I was seeing a girl she told me, she doesn't speak any English at all, right? Mm-hmm. So we always talk Spanish. And then I got her drunk one night, and we were speaking like perfect English.
And you're like, I got your number now. Come on now. That's funny. That's good. It's a good motivator, though. Dating someone that doesn't speak your language, to learn another language. That's got to be it's got to be a good way to get that. Because, otherwise, if you're just like Rosetta Stone or whatever, sometimes it can be hard to self-motivate.
Yeah, it's good. It can be frustrating too, but yeah, for sure, it's a good way to learn. Then you really force yourself.
Yeah, definitely. How has it been trying to date people with a different language and a different culture? Like, if you want to share a glimpse into that life.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty good. I really like the girls here. It's definitely different. I mean, the girls definitely like the gringo guys here. Mm-hmm. I'm always really careful because, I think a lot of these girls here can use you for your money. You think they look at you and they just see money. So
right.
I'm always kind of careful of who I choose.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know what more to say, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it challenging trying to, like there's expectations in every relationship and every culture. So like in the US, you'd have certain stereotypical expectations of dating, what's allowed, what's not allowed, what you do in your role and they do in their role, this is all stereotypes. But like, were there any challenges dating interculturally that way?
Well, I honestly haven't had a serious relationship here. I've only been here for two years. Okay. So as far as long-term dating, I don't have any experience with that.
Gotcha. Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
I'm trying not to, mm-hmm. but I guess we'll see what happens. See if someone special comes along.
Yeah, sure. You never know. As far as, what you were saying about being targeted, I definitely have seen that happen to some of my friends in the past. And, that can happen in any country. But I know, like, when you're in a country that has a little bit of, there's different levels of poverty in different areas. Some people are taught, like instead of like maybe in the US or Canada, you might be taught, okay, go to college. That's your expectation, maybe marry well, it can be taught same thing in the US, people are taught that as well, like different groups of people. So it's always challenging to figure out like people's motives, Yeah,
that's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm. How did you make this transition to Costa Rica, like logistically? You said you sold everything. Did you set up like an international mail forwarder, or like, did you have any big logistical pieces to this move, or was it really super simple for you?
It was pretty simple. I mean, I have family in Canada, obviously, so I sent some mail to my dad's place. I forwarded it all there, some important stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, most of the stuff I canceled. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, I just sold pretty much everything except for my truck, because I still had some payments on that. Mm-hmm. And, sold my house. And then when I got down here, starting up a bank account, that was a little bit of a challenge because it's not easy to do if you don't have your residency.
Right.
The trick I found was I found all the other banks I couldn't do it, but Scotiabank allowed me to do it, and they did it pretty quick. So tip for anybody coming to Costa Rica as a foreigner, check out Scotiabank.
Okay.
Seem to be a little more lenient.
That's a good tip. And then do you have a business bank account as well with them, or is that something that one of your partners handle?
No, we have a business bank account in another bank. That was easy because, my partners, they are Ticos. So that's
great.
what we do. But even here, if you are starting up a business as a foreigner, that's another loophole to get an account is if you have a business in Costa Rica, you can open up an account. And that also allows you to open up a personal account. And that's one thing that did allow me to open up a personal account at Scotiabank was the fact that I had a registered business here.
Okay.
Without that, it would have been a lot harder.
Right. And what were the motives of having a Costa Rican bank account versus just keeping an international bank account?
Oh, the fees. The fees were killing me because I got charged, I think it was $5 every time I took cash out of the ATM. Mm-hmm. And there was the international banking fees. That was like $3. And then the exchange rate too. So
Right.
It definitely paid to get it all down or most of it down in a lump sum, and then I could take it out of the bank machine and not get charged $5 every time.
Yeah, that's no fun. When I first moved to Costa Rica, I had in 6 months I paid like $200 and some odd in fees, and I was like, well, I got to figure out a different route because this is horrible. And for me, as a U.S. citizen, I found a bank called Charles Schwab, and I'm not sure if they serve Canada or not. I have to look into that, but they are phenomenal because they charge you 0 ATM fees, 0 currency transaction fees. And then, because they don't have their banks everywhere, because they're really more of a brokerage firm, every time you use someone else's bank to withdraw money, and that bank charges you, let's call it $3, they reimburse you all those fees at the end of the month. So literally I have 0 fees. I have no idea how they make their money, but I mentioned in my book as one of the resources in the finance section of becoming an expat Costa Rica. But that saved my tush because I didn't open a local account. For me, I didn't really have the need, but I wasn't running a Costa Rican based business. But that really saved me. I have to look into if they have service in Canada.
I've never heard of. I've heard of the Charles Schwab Bank. I've heard of that. But I've never seen that bank in Canada. Okay,
I'll have to look at that, and then I'll include it in the show notes because now I'm really curious. I don't know why I haven't looked at that yet. I'm like, why haven't I checked that out? Interesting. Okay, so you have the bank set up. Your family's managing some of your Canadian mail. What about you? Sold all your stuff. So, what did you come to Costa Rica with? Just a couple suitcases, or what did you end up doing?
Pretty much like a suitcase. Some surfboards because I had a surfboard from before. I brought some wake surfboards, some wakeboards. We have a friend down here that has a wakeboarding business.
Nice.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Some clothes, few bags, not much at all.
How did you settle on Jaco?
When we originally came here, we rented an apartment when we came here on vacation and secured it. And then we both had to go back home. I had to go home to do some work on my house. And we ended up just keeping the place rented out. So when we came back about 3 months later, we learned our first lesson, which is don't ever leave your house without the fans on or air conditioning on.
Oh, no, mold.
3 months in Costa Rica because you're going to be coming home to a moldy house.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta crack the windows, turn the fans on, open the cupboards. Yeah. Definitely.
And we had a vehicle too. We had that all shut up and it was all moldy.
Ooh. Oh man, that's bad. Really bad. Yeah, that's where I learned that vinegar is fantastic for killing mold. Was in Jaco, was in Costa Rica. My Jeep used to always get mold on the leather, on the visor and stuff. I would just after it rains or whatever, I just come back and be mold on the visor. But man, just a little dash of vinegar, that's gone. That's great.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So you're in Jaco. You have your own business, and life is completely different for you. What was hard to leave behind from your old life from Canada? What do you miss? What's hard?
I mean, definitely family, friends. That's the hardest part, right? Miss my family and friends. I really miss snowboarding, skiing, and snowmobiling, sledding. So I miss the winter, even though the summers here are great. I do I do miss those things. I miss some of the toys I had. Like I said, I had a snowmobile. I used to have like a jet ski, a stand-up jet ski. So I miss that. But, I have things here too. So, I get to go surfing. And like I said, it's an endless summer. So.
Right. Does the heat, how are you adjusting to the heat? Because it's pretty intense.
Yeah. I mean, at first it was tough, really hard. But I'm used to it now. It still gets to me, if I have to work in the sun. It's hard. I mean, it's hot, really hot. So, yeah, I mean, it still gets to me. And I like the cooler climates in Costa Rica. If I go up to the mountains, I love it there.
Right.
I prefer it a little cooler, but it's not so bad. You really do get used to it after about a year or so.
And have you traveled a lot extensively through the country?
Fair bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair bit.
Have you been to Sarcero?
No, I haven't.
Okay, if you like the cooler climate, Sarcero is basically spring or late fall all year round. It's got a breeze. It's got a lot of evergreens. You'll actually probably really dig it. It's also got a crazy, funky, old church that is blue marble. It looks like medieval. And then it's got a topiary garden. It has pretty amazing shape topiaries. And then if you go during holiday season, they're all decked out in Christmas lights. It's a really cool place that really only Costa Ricans usually will go there as a little vacation, and otherwise it's locals. You see very few gringos. Of course, now that I air this, that might change a little bit. But Sarcero is a really special town, if you ask me.
I'm looking it up now. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, Sarcero. And if you go to Sarcero, you're going to be close to Del Toro Waterfall, which is about 40 minutes from Sarcero, and it is so worth the drive. It's a beautiful drive, but it's a huge single spout waterfall that, because of the water source, there must be some volcanic sulfur or different things in the water. The rock all the way down is sort of rainbow from different acids or something. From cool science stuff, the rock looks awesome. And it's really tall, and you can hike down. I saw baby hummingbirds there, and it's just something you have to do.
Have you been to Rio Celeste?
Oh my God, yes. And that's amazing.
I've never been there, but that's on my top list to go next.
It should be. And, you need to go during the dry season because if it rains too much, you won't see that blue. It'll be diluted because of the mineral. It gets diluted, and you don't get to see that, glow-in-the-dark blue that's in the water there.
Right. That makes sense for sure.
Yeah.
Just rainy season now. My favorite cool place to hang out for cool climate is up by Chiripo.
Oh, I hiked Chiripo. Not all the way to the top, though, but I wish I could say I did. I did not. I didn't overnight. I can't do that shit in one day. But I couldn't get the permit to overnight. It was full. And I learned a trick. You got to pay a local kid to sleep out front because that's what they do. That's how some of them earn their income, is to sleep out front for different hikers. And then they go in, they get the permit right first thing in the morning because they reserve a certain amount of overnight permits every day for walk-in. And then they have permits booked out for the year. So right now they already have permits booked out for next season. So it's kind of crazy. But anyway, yeah, I love Chiripo.
It's so nice up there. It's beautiful. That's where I want to move.
That's where you want to move? Is that what you said?
Eventually, yeah, in that area.
Okay. Well, check out Sarcero too. I want to just want to put that seed there. It's pretty fantastic.
Looking at the picture. The garden looks amazing, man.
Yeah. And there's a really cute boutique hotel right next to that garden that looks at it. It's $30 a night, and I can't remember what it's called, but I'll find it and then send you the info and put it in the show notes because it's adorable.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, perfect. All right. Let's see. Got so sidetracked because I got reminiscing. I'd love to. Oh man. So, okay. What are the best parts and worst parts about living in Costa Rica? I mean, we already discussed that you're missing your family and friends, which of course you're going to do. But as far as actual Costa Rica day-to-day living, what's good? What's bad?
Okay. So the bad, I have a hard time dealing with Tico time. I'm sure you know all about Tico time, especially running a business. Mm-hmm. Coming from North America, we want things done fast.
Right.
But you just can't expect things to be done fast here. Everybody's got such a slower mentality, and it takes so much longer to get anything done here.
Right.
And so that really bothers me, especially when I was building the business, when we needed certain things done, like when somebody told us, we're going to have all your wood for this date, and, they end up being like 3 months late, or,
my God. Yeah.
Stop week, or, it takes you an hour just to go to the bank. Just little things like that. The good, the beach, definitely, the end of summer, really nice people, definitely really friendly here, really open. They want to help you. Surfing in the summer. What else? The food's really good here. My favorite part is the fruit and the vegetables.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
Organic fruit, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, exotic fruit, like the grenadilla, the star fruit, things like that that I didn't get in Canada. In Canada, I never even used to eat pineapple or watermelon.
Right.
Because I don't know, it just didn't have the flavor, but you eat it here and it's just, it's amazing.
Blows your mind. Yeah. And isn't it great having it be cheap to eat healthy food, like healthy whole foods? It's just, that's cheaper,
I love it. Yeah, it is expensive here, like to buy groceries, like anything that's imported, like you want to buy a box of cereal, it's going to be expensive.
Right,
but if you go to a fruiteria and buy just fruit and vegetables,
so cheap. Yeah, so cheap. Whereas if you go to like Whole Foods in town, right, like used to just buying like vegetables and fruit, and you're like, how did it get so much? All they had to do is pull it off the tree and throw it in a truck, right? Like, I don't know what happened. No.
Yeah, the price of fruits and vegetables in the States and Canada, it's ridiculous. And it's fresh too, right? It's all been in the vehicle for a couple weeks or whatever and sprayed with who knows what. Here it's fresh.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things I miss. And the fresh juices that you can get there, the handmade juices in Costa Rica, are fantastic. Yeah,
I have a juicer, so I do a lot of juicing.
Well, that's nice. That sounds great. Yeah, I love casados. They're a typical dish, you leave feeling so fresh after you eat that because it's not heavy and you're in the heat, so you don't want anything heavy.
Yeah, for sure. But you did mention Maria Baja and Rustico.
Oh my God, I love Maria Baja and Maria Alto. Yeah,
it's a good place to go. For a good cheap $5-6 meal, you get a huge plate there.
Huge plate and a drink. Yeah. And I went to Amigos when I couldn't handle the heat anymore. I just needed AC. We go there.
Yeah.
I get their garlic wrap for lunch. Yeah, it's pretty good.
So, go walk in the grocery store, even if I don't need to buy anything. Just
totally. When you're walking Jaco, you got to walk in the grocery store, the pharmacy, and Amigos for the cold beer, and you're set. Half the time when it was time to eat, I was like, okay, how hot am I? And that's how I made a decision on where I was going to go. So, it's hot when that's the case. All right, so those are your favorite and least favorite parts about Costa Rica. Would you ever move back to Canada at this point in the game, or what are your thoughts there?
Not at this point. I definitely want to stay here. I miss Canada. I definitely need to make it back to visit.
Yeah.
I'd like to have a home there for, go 4, 5, maybe 6, 6 months of the year.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely I want to be here.
Okay. So maybe a little split time, okay.
Another thing I love about here is there's not so many rules.
Right.
Just rules for everything, right? I just had some clients come in and we were talking about how, there's not many rules here. It's really slack and, the cops don't really seem to care about too much.
Right.
And she was telling me that, I think she was from Ontario, and she was saying that tobogganing is now illegal in Ontario.
Why?
Because I guess, I don't know, people were getting hurt on public property or private property, and they were suing.
Oh, my God. Okay.
So, apparently it's illegal, right? And just,
That's a bummer.
stupid things like that.
Well, I talk about this with in another podcast with this teenager that's raised in Costa Rica. Well, actually, since he was 13. So he was talking about the different life versus like growing up in Costa Rica versus growing up in the U.S. And we were talking about this rule business because, of course, as a teenager, you're like, that's the first thing you notice is the rules, right? And he says, well, the difference is in Costa Rica, they don't make rules that protect you from yourself. And I thought that was such a great statement, because he did this thing where he jumped off a bridge. It was it was a bridge that was not being used anymore. It's right along that main highway that gets you from the airport to Jaco. And I don't even know if you would notice it. It's in a canyon. It's all rusty looking, but still legit, steel bridge. And him and his dad are climbers, and they actually have their own tour company. And so they have these harnesses on, and they basically make a homemade Tarzan swing, and they just jump off this bridge along the side of the highway. And it was kind of crazy. And I have this on video. I'll have to attach it to the show notes as well. And
you're talking about Mike, aren't you?
I am. I am indeed. And yeah, they did this great.
We were talking about doing that actually one day. Him and I, he was telling me about it.
Oh my God. So so they do this, and it's just funny because in the U.S. you'd be arrested if you did that. So there's just I like the idea of not having laws try to protect you from yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to hurt yourself, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, here's education. You do with what you want with your life and things like that. And then there's more freedoms and I don't know. That's just sort of my views. But it's a shame when you let the litigious portion of society create the rules and expectations and what's allowed and what's not allowed. And that's happening in medicine. I could do a whole soapbox edition of this shit.
No doubt. Medicine. It's actually I heard that it's illegal to cure yourself with natural medicine like food. If you have cancer in the States, you can't. Technically, you aren't allowed to do it, but of course, here they don't have any rules like that.
Yeah, so I have the beginnings of an ear infection right now, and I happen to be in Los Angeles. And I'm like, dang it, because I was just in Honduras. And I'm like, normally I would just walk down to the pharmacy and say, hey, I can't hear this ear. I have an infection. And they'd hand me eardrops. Or they'd look at it and say, nah, you're above that. Now you're ready for the pill. You're ready for an antibiotic. And it's like, do you really need to spend the money to go see a physician just about an ear infection? I think it's just crazy. And it's so much simpler in Latin America. You just go there and you tell them what's up. And these are doctors. These are pharmacists that have PhDs. And they're like, okay, let me look at you. Great. Here you go. You're on your way. And it's so simple.
Yeah. So, I love that about it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I definitely love that. Now, have you had any type of medical problems in Costa Rica?
No, none.
Nothing.
I've been lucky.
Yeah. But Costa Rica's healthcare is pretty awesome, though. If they have the Caja, and then they have CIMA, the private hospitals. I talk about it quite a bit in the book. So it's actually a pretty cool place to be if you do need, medical help.
It's pretty good. Yeah. We have one of our employees actually got hurt a little bit, and we put him on the Caja, and they pay 77% of his salary, and we pay the rest.
Wow. Yeah, so Caja for our listeners is kind of like it's a combination of Social Security, or I guess Medicare, and workman's comp, sort of, right? Is that how you would describe it?
Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. Yeah, pretty much when you hire an employee, they're supposed to be on the Caja. So
right.
If you have an employee working for you and he or she is not on the Caja, then that's technically illegal.
Right, because it's working towards all the benefits for them, so they're getting shorted, and it's like having paying someone under the table in the U.S., sort of like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Now, you can have contracts with people saying okay, this is your salary. You don't have a Caja. You have to pay your own Caja.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So, but they went through, they got hurt, and they got better, and they had sort of a short-term disability through the Caja then, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Tell me about running a business in Costa Rica. You mentioned a little bit about the frustrations about Tico time and not getting your supplies and, trying that type of logistical issue. What other experiences, good and bad, about trying to run a business in Costa Rica?
I mean, it's not easy. I came down here thinking that, we were going to open up high season. We're going to be really busy. That wasn't the case. This year was actually really slow for everybody, just for tourism in general in Costa Rica. So, it's tough because you're relying on tourism. And, of course, we're still getting the word out about the business. So, it takes time. And like I said, people are slow here. You go talk to people and they're always to your face. They're always like, oh, great. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. This is so good. And then you turn your back, walk away, come back the next day, and they're like, who are you?
Right.
So they it's tough to really get your point through to people here, right? Emailing, forget about it. You can send 100 emails, maybe one person's going to read it and reply to you, right? So
right.
That's another thing about doing business here, whereas in Canada or North America, people are pretty good with their emails. Here, they don't even read it. They don't care, right? So that's a little frustrating. You got to actually track the person down, and even then, when you do it, it's tough.
Right. That would be frustrating. I actually love email because you get to sit and compose your thoughts, and and then you can answer at your leisure, as opposed to a telephone conversation where you have to decide how you want to respond all on the spot. So yeah. I enjoy email for that. I enjoy thinking a little bit about what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think it's great, right?
Yeah, I like it. But so that is hard. I can hear that. Well, okay. So you've done this journey. How long have you been? 2 years in Costa Rica now?
2 years. Yeah, pretty much exactly 2 years. Maybe even to the day.
Oh, happy anniversary.
Yeah, thanks. I don't know the exact day, but I know it was.
So we're super warm.
June. It's either mid-June or mid-July. That's another thing I love about being here. It's what day is it?
Yeah, exactly. I have a watch, and on my watch I have the day of the week and the date, because I never know either, ever. And everyone's always like, "What day is it?" I have no idea, so I just look at my watch. I'm like, "Okay, it's Wednesday," or whatever it is, So in Costa Rica, I got a watch so that I'd know when to walk on the beach, because in Bejuco and Jaco, high tide, it's a super pain in the butt to walk on the beach. Low tide is fantastic, so I had a tide watch, and that was the purpose. I didn't really care what time it was. I just wanted to know when to walk on the beach, So, and for surf, each beach has a better surf at a certain tide. So,
did you surf?
In Jaco, I like surfing in Jaco. In Bejuco, not so much. I tried, and it was so embarrassing. I've surfed since I was younger, and I was having so much trouble just getting outside. And I'm like, this makes me feel really bad right now. But it was harder.
It's hard. I mean, it's definitely the hardest sport I've ever done or tried.
But it's so great.
Definitely getting out and catching the waves is the hardest part.
Yeah, and when you get outside and you're finally out where you can catch the waves, and you're spent. You're great, my arms are noodles because I just fought an army to get out here,
Exactly.
Because where I'm from in Southern California, a lot of times, especially if I go Seal Beach or Huntington Cliffs, there's a lot of lulls, there's a lot of breaks between the waves, and so even if you start out trying to get outside and there's a bunch of waves, it'll eventually stop, and then you kind of they throw you a bone, basically, and you get out. But in Jaco, it's no. It's just constant. And Bejuco.
Yeah. So. I've never surfed Bejuco, but I hear it's really nice.
It's intense. Yeah, it is nice. Esterios as well, right next door.
I've done Esterios. Yeah, that's actually my favorite spot. Esterios Oeste is my favorite.
Oh, okay. I surfed there.
Surfing spot. Yeah, I like it because it's good for a beginner that's got big chunky waves. They don't close out really fast like Jaco. They're really steep.
Yeah. Oeste is fun. It's good. And I don't know if there's still a pizza place there, but there used to be a pizza place there for after surfing. Open air. I don't know. It was that restaurant. It's an open air restaurant right by the beach there. It always changes hands, so I never know what it's going to be when I go back. Yeah. But yeah, it's a good spot for sure. So it's been 2 years for you. What's that?
I'll keep an eye out next time I head that way.
Keep your eye out. It's been 2 years in Costa Rica. Do you think that you're going to be there long term, or do you think eventually you're going to pick up and try another adventure somewhere else?
Yeah, I want to be here long term. I mean, there's a good chance that maybe I will, want to move to another country once this business is successful and, it doesn't need my attention so much. And, I can move and start something out in a different country and live here part-time and in Canada part-time. I would love that. If I had a business or, a few different businesses all around the world, I think that would be great if I could travel around and, just check up on the different businesses in different parts of the world.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great goal and super doable, it sounds like, so I think that sounds like a fun adventure. And for me, I'm a Gemini, and so I like changing things up as well. I like having a few projects going at any given time because, it's nice to be able to bounce from one thing to another so you don't quite get in that stale, autopilot mode.
Yeah. Some people, they enjoy that. They like the schedules, things not changing. But me personally, I like change.
Yeah, definitely. We're all built super different. I know a lot of different. Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are like, no, they want structure and they want roots, and those things are very valuable for them. And for me, I'm just not built that way. My scaffolding is totally different, So. Yes. I think a lot of people who have international experiences, we have these ingredients in our personalities and our genetic makeup that coincide, where we totally get each other because then you tell your friends and family what you want to do. And you have half of them that are like, wow, it's amazing. You're crazy. You're going to do this. This is phenomenal. And then the other half, it's like, dude, you need a CAT scan. You're going to sell your house and all your toys and you're going to go raise some freaking where,
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people are like, they're like, are you sure? Like, aren't you scared?
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know, not really,
Yeah. I mean, you can live your life based on fear. You can live your life based on like love and passion. And obviously, I aim towards the latter, but, and then in moments in your life, there's always flux, and the moments you'll be like, oh, wow, I have sort of slid into thinking about more fear or stress. Got to reevaluate and change that up. A lot of all of the adventurous living is all about your attitude and what you expect from yourself and what you want for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I did a lot of backpacking, like I said, when I was younger. So I think that trained me to always be moving and looking for new things.
Yeah, my first travel experience was when I was in 8th grade, and I had fundraised for 2 years to play soccer in Hawaii for what they called a World Cup tournament, and I was so excited. And I went to Hawaii with my coach's sister as my chaperone, and I had such a good time there. I didn't care about soccer at all when I got there. I was like, oh my God, it's like beautiful. And I surfed in Waikiki, and I remember thinking, I'm surfing this wave. And I usually would just focus on the surface of the wave because I couldn't see through it. Like, in Southern California, you can't see through it. And all of a sudden I'm like, okay, wave, fishy, coral. Like I didn't know what to focus on, the depth. And it was almost like I almost got, like seasick or confused. Like my mind didn't know what to do with it. And I was like, this is amazing. And then when I got home, I told my parents, I'm like, why didn't you want to go on a trip like that? That was phenomenal. And they said, well, when you live in paradise, why would you want to leave? And I thought, well, why? How do you know what paradise is if you haven't left?
Exactly. Good point. Yeah.
So go ahead.
A lot of different paradises.
Yeah. And I just felt like, okay, from that point on, I was bit with a travel bug, and I had to wait till I had my own source of income and met my two friends, Visa and MasterCard, before I could explore some more,
Yeah, they're two good friends of mine.
Yeah. They're
always usually there for me.
Yeah. They're usually there for you until you travel too much, and then they get turned off because, the fraud alert, because you didn't tell your bank you're traveling. And you're like, oh, right. Okay, I'll call.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely like those friends. So that's definitely how, in college, I started traveling. And this whole life, was spurred on by surfing and playing soccer in Hawaii. That's what happened for me. I haven't told that story on this podcast, so that was just kind of fun.
I love Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii. Went to Maui.
Oh, I haven't been to Maui. I really want to go, though, so it'll happen soon.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite places. I love the climate there. It's perfect. like the, perfect temperature all the time.
Right.
Great.
So
That's paradise.
and that's perfect. Is that what you said?
That's paradise.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I mean, so is Costa Rica. So.
There's a lot of forms of paradise. And,
Exactly.
It's not like Costa Rica's competing with Maui. They each have their beauties, and they each have their pros and cons. And, so it's not like you have this rule where you have to be exclusive. And you're seeing other islands, okay? It's all right. So if you had it to do over again, would you change anything about the path and the decisions that you've made thus far?
Good question. No, I always tried not to have any regrets, so I'm just going to say no, even if something doesn't turn out the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say if, things falling through with my buddy and not opening up that business, things usually end up working out in the long run, right?
Right.
You learn from your mistakes or something that goes wrong. So no regrets. I would do everything the same. I mean, I'm definitely happy where I am right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great to hear. I know that, have you heard the saying where your life would be horrible if you actually got everything you wanted?
That's a good saying. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you think about it and you look back on life, whether it's a relationship or what you thought you wanted for, your career, your life, and you're like, oh my God, thank goodness that didn't work out because this is so much better. I had no idea it was right around the corner, What would you, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if it was easy, everybody would do it. And if everything was easy, then, how boring would life be?
Right. It's super true. And most things worth going for are not easy, They're the things that require the labor of love.
That's right. Huh?
Yeah. What advice would you give others who want to follow in your footsteps, who are looking at Costa Rica as a place to maybe move, live, work, and retire? What advice would you give them?
Always do your research. I mean, definitely come down here on vacation, spend some time. You want to spend some time in the location where you're planning on moving, maybe 6 months. I never really did that. And like I said, I don't have any regrets. But I have heard of people come down here and, they kind of jumped into it. Uh-huh. And then it's just not for them. The language barrier pisses them off. And, they can't come to terms with that. It takes an hour to go to the bank and everybody's late and, it just drives them insane. So definitely if you're coming to Costa Rica, you have to relax.
Right.
Relax and just chill and, try not to be in such a rush for sure.
Yes.
And definitely take more money than you expect because especially if you're going to open up a business, because it's probably going to cost you more than what you anticipated for sure.
Okay.
So definitely budget for double what you think and what you have on paper.
Well, Jason, it's been great having you on as a guest on our Becoming an Expat podcast, and I look forward to kind of following you and seeing how Jaco Ropes does. For all of our listeners, what would be the best way to get in contact with you?
You can shoot us an email at info@jacoropes.com. You can check out the website at www.jacoropes.com. And we got Instagram, we got Facebook, we got all the social media. If you're interested in checking out my other project with my friend, it's crguytrip.com. That's more for like bachelor parties, guys trips, and we do some bachelorette parties too.
That sounds great. Well, thanks again for your time, Jason. It's been awesome getting to know you, and I look forward to seeing what you're doing in the future.
Thanks a lot. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to Becoming an Expat. We'd like to hear from you. Email us your questions and share your stories about taking the leap into your new life abroad.
Are you tired of the daily grind or living for the weekends? Why put up with the life you dread? Learn how to live your life another way today. In our academy, you'll learn how to live life on your terms, what environment makes you thrive and become the best you possible. We even teach you how to start a freedom business you can take with you while you travel the world. For those that like their deep roots, you'll learn how to retrain your brain to accomplish what you never knew possible from your hometown. So if you're at a crossroad in life and don't know which way to go or need to make a change, sign up for access to all of our courses at www.lifeanotherway.com. Hurry, because as we add courses, the one-time fee will increase. One enrollment fee endless, adventurous living.